Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, May 31st. Friendly reminder, the markets are closed on May 30th for Memorial Day. Real quick, as far as these videos are concerned, if you are somebody that uses technical charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used to help make good decisions, this will be a video for you. Real quick before I get started, I first want to personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering next week. So if you're enjoying what you see and you want to learn more about this tool and how it can be used to help build consistency, then certainly get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box, or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you're enjoying what you see, then definitely get signed up for the free class. One quick clarification point before I get into the stocks here. I will be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks, as they're called in case you're a beginner, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, AMC, did this one a couple days ago when the stock was first coming to life. And at this point, it really became a question of, all right, yeah, it's made a good move, but was there any sort of true power behind it? And we've certainly got our answer since then as the price has continued to grind higher and higher. So point being, very, very nice week for the stock, and updates need to be done. So first thing I'm going to do here is actually squeeze this down, because we're going to have to go back quite a bit of ways into the chart's history to figure out where some potential next battleground points are at. And like I said, I realize the chart's a little bit harder to see here, but that just really illustrates the fact that it's been quite a while since the price has been back this low, back this high. But the next area of resistance is going to be these former lows up here, right around $14.70. So I'll change that to red for resistance. So 14.70, 14.75 going to be the next key battleground to watch headed into next week. And if that level can be broken, then the next key level after that would be the top part of this former range, which sits up there right around the $16 mark. So 14.70 and 16 will be the next key levels from the resistance side of things. As far as areas of support are concerned, I can zoom back in for this. If there are any sort of pullbacks, first key pullback point to watch closely going to be right there at 1350. And then from the big picture point of view, just keep an eye on that purple line down there, which is the 50-period moving average. Keyword being moving. So as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher and get more and more relevant. But that's just a matter of perspective. Like I said, if you're more of a near-term person, then the breakout point right there and that support is going to be more relevant. But if you're somebody that cares about just more so the general point of view, then keep an eye on that 50-period moving average. Next one here, AVDL. I don't mean to say it the obvious, but I will just to build context. Very, very impressive bounce. To think that just previously the price was down here and all of a sudden it's worked its way up to where it has right there. So really the big question now moving forward is, yes, it's bounced, been a very powerful bounce, but is this the start of something bigger? And I have no idea, but by using charts, we can answer that question. Very straightforward. And in my mind is, okay, if this is the start of something bigger, then the price is going to need to start to show signs of progress, because that's what truly strong moves do, right? They're going to show progress. But that does bring about the bit of, okay, well, how are you defining progress, right? Because that is just words. But that's why I love charts, is they allow you to take words and make them very visual. So when I say quote-unquote progress, I mean right there at $1.75. Now, I'm not saying this will occur, but just for example's sake, even if the price did come down to $1.75, behave like that, and then worked its way back upwards, what would you have? Well, at that point, you'd still have a set of lows there. You'd have lows down here, and if you envision those as stair steps, you'd still have stair steps making progress in the upwards direction. And again, that's what a truly strong move is going to do. It's going to show signs of progress, and in this situation, the quote-unquote sign of progress is staying up above that $1.75 mark. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, all eyes going to be on that purple line right there, which on my chart denotes the very famous 50-period moving average. So keep a close eye on that. The good news is the price is well within striking distance. So sure, that doesn't guarantee that it'll be broken, but it also makes it more than rational to think that a breakout of that level could happen. But all in all, very, very impressive bounce today. So it'll be interesting to see if this momentum continues into next week. Next one, IMPP, and this is one where, and I don't want to come across like I'm trying to impress you or imply that I have some sort of special skill. I assure you a lot of people have noticed this, and I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same thing and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movements. And that's what we have here in regards to that pink line, which on my chart denotes the very, very famous 200-period moving average. And this is exactly why it's famous. I mean, check out the last part of the day. You had 30 minutes here, and then the final 30 minutes here. Both of them went basically straight up, but look right where it ultimately got rejected. What a coincidence, right at that 200-period moving average. So does that mean that the price can never get above it? That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is a lot of people have noticed that level, so it becomes relevant to think that, and plausible to think that if the price can push up through that level, that break could create quite a bit of upwards buying pressure. So keep a close eye on that. For those of you that like to play pullbacks, key pullback level to watch It's going to be that former breakout point right there around the 50-cent mark. So keep a close eye on that. But all in all, I think the most interesting dynamic, and probably the dynamic most people will be watching, is can the price break up through that 56-cent mark, which is that 200-period moving average. So we'll see what next week has to offer. Next one is ACB, and this is interesting and one where you definitely have to be disciplined. You definitely have to have risk control parameters within your strategy. But the reason why it is so interesting is, first off, big gap down, from close there, open up there. Then after the gap down, just got absolutely destroyed for the first part of the day. But this is also where things got interesting because the price did ultimately just start to go sideways. Now, don't get me wrong, and I wish I could say trading was this easy. Just because the price got beat down and then started to go sideways does not mean that for sure guaranteed this is the bottom and that for sure guaranteed this thing is going to, head back upwards. My point here is it plausible? Is it valid to think that, okay, yeah, maybe this is some sort of bottoming action? That is a more than plausible thought process to have. So again, no such thing as a guarantee. I'm not saying this is the bottom, but is it valid to start to think that way? Absolutely. So definitely keep a close eye on that in terms of if you like to play these bottoming type formations where you have a good risk versus reward, where if the price doesn't bounce, oh well, you take a disciplined loss. But if it does bounce, then you could have some potential very nice reward on your hands. So like I said, if you like to play those setups, you like to play the setups that are particularly down below the $5 mark, well then here you go. Next one, SIGA, and I'm mapping out this one for one reason alone, and it goes back to the whole, I'm not trying to impress you, not trying to imply that I have a special talent. I assure you a lot of people notice this pattern, so we circle back to that whole idea of self-fulfilling prophecies. So again, I assure you a lot of people have drawn this pattern. So the first part of this pattern being right here, the resistance portion of it, and then the other part of the pattern being more so the support portion. So let me actually change that to green to represent more so the buyers. And then maybe just to make this easier, let's try to make this all one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have our big momentum move right there. And then to make it a little bit more visual, let's put the golf hole down here. So this would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So if you like to play bull pennants, if you like to play this price range, then this is definitely one that's got a very, very textbook type formation here. So we'll see if the price can get the breakout through it and cause some self-fulfilling prophecies to go into motion. Now, I put this one back to back just because same general topic, self-fulfilling prophecies, well-defined pattern. So very quickly, because it's essentially that same exact pattern, we have the resistance, we have the support, we have the momentum move right there. And I know I'm going this very quickly, but you get the general idea. We have the golf hole down here. So we have ourselves a bull pennant here. I don't know if I said the ticker symbol, but we're looking at AMD here. Again, AMD. So we have the bull pennant. But what makes this extra interesting is when you combine the fact that over here, you also have the top of this bull pennant being right here next to this pretty historic level of resistance right up around, let's just call it the 102.50 mark. So let me change that to right. Now, it's not exact, but idea here is that a breakout of the top part of this pattern would also be a breakout of this former area of congestion back here, which again, guarantees nothing, but doesn't make it plausible, doesn't make it valid to think that a break of that level could create quite a bit of upwards buying pressure and momentum. That is absolutely a rational thought process to have. So if you like to, and maybe this is too high of a price range for stock, but if you're someone that likes to play options and you like to play these sorts of setups, then I'd say this one definitely deserves to be on your watch list for next week. Once again, same general idea here. So I don't want to just waste your time saying the same things over and over. So this should sound familiar. We have a resistance, we have a support, we have a momentum move here, we have the golf hole down here. So we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern here on ticker symbol. Did I forget the ticker symbol again? I don't remember. FTCH. Can you tell it's Friday? But FTCH bull pennant within a general uptrend, and this one is a bit cheaper than AMD. So if you prefer to stick with stocks and you don't do options, and you want to have those stocks down below the $10 mark, this one that fits all those categories. Again, nice bull pennant, and you got a good price range here. So keep an eye on this one if you like to play this price range with those sorts of patterns. FTCH. Next one, PLTR, and talk about just a beautiful looking uptrend. I mean, if you're writing a textbook and you need an example for an uptrend, here you go. I mean, you just look at these lows, and these lows just keep grinding higher and higher. So going back to envisioning these as stair-steps, I mean, talk about beautiful stair-steps going in the right direction. So if you're somebody that just likes to play trends, whether that be buying breakouts in trends, buying pullbacks in trends, this is one that is fitting all those categories. And just like FTCH, it's down below that $10 mark. So that's the great thing about uptrends and even downtrends, but in this situation, we're talking about an uptrend. Is there a variety of ways to play it? And that's also the idea of a watch list, is to find unique situations, to find interesting situations, and then, well, watch them to see if they behave in a way that best fits your scenario. So yeah, no doubt about it, this trend is very solid. It's very interesting. So it's worth at least watching. Again, not rushing out and randomly buying, but observing and watching next week to see if it behaves in a way such as a breakout, a pullback, or who knows, maybe do some sort of combination of each. But there's no doubt about it that PLTR has definitely established itself a nice looking uptrend here. Next one, NIO, and we have ourselves a solid little self-fulfilling prophecy point here, as we'll just call it, and that's right up here at $16.70. So just to be very clear, as I've said, I'm not trying to apply that some sort of difficult level. A lot of people will watch this, and what makes this all the more interesting is while it guarantees nothing, it had a very, very nice afternoon where the price, not explosive, but as you can see, hit that low there and then spent the rest of the day quietly creeping upwards. So it's definitely within striking distance of that level. Doesn't mean it's going to break. Of course not. But is it valid to throw out the question, hey, looks like a breakout could be coming. Is there going to be a breakout that occurs? And going back to the whole philosophy of a watch list, in my mind, certainly a situation worth at least watching and seeing how it behaves in that regard. And then if you do like to play more so the pullbacks, the key interesting and pullback area, get this changed to green here, would be down here around this former breakout point, which sits at $16.10. But like I said, I think most people are going to be watching that $16.70 mark. So let's see if the bulls can get the breakout through there next week. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and this thing has just continued to beast mode. I mean, all these levels from the last time I did it, sure they still pertain, but they're just not relevant anymore. So I'll go ahead and just delete these out from a presentation standpoint. Don't want to risk causing clutter and then confusion everywhere. But very, very nice uptrend here. And the level that a lot of people are going to be watching, at least I know I'll be watching next week as somebody that, observes Tesla and trades it on a pretty routine basis. But very curious up here about $765, which, like PLTR, like NIO, so same exact, concept, and why I wanted to put them back to back on the watch list, is did Tesla have an explosive afternoon? No, but it slowly crept upwards and is now, like NIO, within striking distance of a very, very watched level. So there's certainly that self-fulfilling prophecy attribute that comes with it, and certainly worth keeping a close eye on. But if you do like to play more so the pullbacks, then the level that stands out to me as a interesting key potential pullback level right down here around that $740 mark. So keep a close eye on that. But like I said, I think the most compelling dynamic and the most, compelling dynamic is going to be that 765 break and whether or not that happens. But you got to give credit where credit's due. Very nice back half of the week here for Tesla. So if this momentum can continue, then 760 could certainly produce a very, very impressive and worthwhile breakout. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, like I said, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool and how it should be used to help build consistency as a trader, then certainly get signed up for the free class. It'll be, like I said, next week, Thursday, June 2nd at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you would like for me to continue to make these videos, then please help me out with some basic communication. Hit that like button, leave a simple comment below, even if it's just saying hi. Tell me what you traded. Tell me what you're watching next week. Give me a smiley face emoji. Give me an American flag emoji for Memorial Day weekend. But those two things, hitting the like button, leaving a simple comment, go a long way in communicating to me that you enjoy. As long as I know people are enjoying, then I will continue to put in the time and effort required to create this sort of content for you. And then again, get signed up for that free class next week if you want to learn more about how to build consistency as a trader. Everybody take care and have a great weekend.